and then you just play that. Oh, see now, can you hear this?
Hello, is it true what they say about you as a gadget, or has he served his time now?
Now, having said that, isn't this just like a dictaphone, and why am I bothered? Why is this future technology? Isn't this something I've already got?
But it's something that yuppies are like this. Yuppies are like this.
Okay, do you roughly know the price of it?
I could bluff and lie, but let me just check my careful file effect system. How much is this?
I reckon it's
100
100
quid. 100 quid I'm sold. 100
Okay,
quid.
thanks very much for that, Caesar.
Thank you, sir.
You'll be back next week with more gossip about the gizmos and indeed more gadgets in the very flesh.
And I'll even wear my denim shirt.
Look forward to that. And we could sort of all pretend to be still waddy-waddy, couldn't we? Okay, thanks very much to Kate, Ravi and Caesar. Stay with us. We have Big Barry next. Don't forget, if there's anything in our programme that you'd like more details about, you can always check out our website at www.computerchannel.co.uk. That's computerchannel.co.uk, the www there at the front. And also, if you're having any problems with your computer, 0990 10 20 50. That's 0990 10 20 50. If you're having any computer-related problems, our helplines are there until 8 o'clock. Coming up next is Big Boy Barry. We'll see you after the break. Bye-bye for now.
Astronaut selection.
The NASA jet went down here in Chico Air.
Until 8 o'clock on 0990 10 20 50. That's 0990 10 20 50. And they're there to help. You can also email us, don't forget, at the computer channel at dial.pipex.com. Okay, coming up next, it's Big Boy Barry in Games World.
Call the tip bouncer!
Paul, keep stum! Ladies and gentlemen, it's come to this. The epic saga of the Tip Bouncer has reached its final tragic conclusion. Not since the legendary TC League final of '95 has this reporter seen such an epic television rivalry. It's like Mark Antony and Julius Caesar all over again. With Paul Levin playing Cleopatra, obviously. See, apparently they both like to bathe in goat milk, but that's another story for another time. It all begins after the menu, but for now, ladies and gentlemen, draw near. Nearer still. Okay, stop. Go back. And give you the trial of the Tip Bouncer.
Thank you, Barry. On tonight's show, we review Riot on the PlayStation. We take a look at Soul Blade. And Rick Henson talks to the guys as Maxis America.
Call the next witness!
Well, the main witness for the prosecution is just down, ladies and gentlemen. It was a sad, sad tale he told. Truly a devastating story. Apparently, the Tip Bouncer's been hiring teams of small children working through the night on his tip. There's also been some mention of rust dealing in the court this afternoon. Although it's just a rumour, it has been stated that the Tip Bouncer's walkabout for level 3 on Tomb Raider was simply made up on the bus, although this has not yet been substantiated. It's looking rather bad for the Tip Bouncer today, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you. Tell you what, why don't you watch the reviews and I'll practice a spot of gloating. It doesn't bode particularly well for the future when the national sport is known as Riot, does it? I mean, think about it. You can just imagine the situation. Nah, I'm just off down the Riot, man. Don't tell McCluskey. Oh, all right, Pet. Don't forget your scarf now. I mean, talk about trumpeting moral fibre. It's ludicrous, I tell you. Fortunately, the game itself is marginally less violent than your average looting session, and instead features a large oval arena where competitors stunt around a lightning-fast ball of gas. Other than that, admittedly rather radical change from that dear old game of football, it's pretty much business as usual, especially if you're familiar with the future sports games in general. This is the genre that began with Speedball many eons ago, and it is undergoing something of a renaissance at the moment. Proving beyond a shadow of a doubt, the gentle rivalry following the rules and belief in the sanctity of life are desperately overrated qualities.
Well, whoop-de-doo. It's a future sports game, everybody. We haven't seen one of those since Tuesday, at least. I mean, Speedball was 7 years ago now, and that was a better game than this. All right, so it's Flash, it's in 3D, they're nice rendered explosions, but you can just see some marketing man sitting there thinking, I know, we'll do Speedball again, we'll put some 3-hour FMV sequence at the front of it, and it'll be next year's big thing. I don't buy it, and, well, I don't buy it.
Well, there's someone out there been watching Rollerball lately or something. All of these games seem to be coming out in the last year and a half or so. You've had Hyperblade, Pitball. It's a whole little genre has developed of these kind of combat sports sims. And at the end of the day, the only one that's ever pulled it off was Speedball, and that was years ago. Back to the drawing board, guys.
Only Jessies fight with their fists these days. You see, in the fickle world of the hit beat-em-up, it's nunchuckers or nothing, I'm afraid. Well, strangely, nunchuckers are the one thing you won't see in this conversion of Namco's volatile medieval arcade fighter. Apparently, you see, it's been decided that they make the game too violent. Well, that's all right, as long as there aren't any swords, daggers, axes, heavy iron rods and sharpened knitting needles in the game. Hang on a second. Bizarre censorship decisions aside, it's still a cracking good game and features a group of splendidly old-fashioned heavies searching for an ancient sword in the dark mists of the 16th century. The quest is a noble one, but each fighter is prudent enough to main first and ask questions later. So prepare yourself for blood, jaw-jarring punches and enough silly clothes to make a coachload of cross-dressing clowns raise an eyebrow or two.
This game is slick. I like this game. I mean, Tekken 2 is dead. Long live Soul Blade, that's all I can say. It reigns supreme above all beat-em-ups at the moment. Edge Master Mode keeps the longevity there. You've got 80 different weapons out there to collect. Options and features you wouldn't believe. Practice mode. Customizable joysticks. The list is endless. The only problem for me with this thing is the intro soundtrack. I mean, it sounds like some kind of wet metal Norwegian Eurovision Song Contest entry gone horribly wrong. It doesn't work. Anyway.
I mean, yeah, it's the same old problem all over again. I've had a lot of stick for preferring Virtua Fighter to Tekken 2, and it's the same thing here. It is very slick, it is very cinematic, but it's just not the same game. I mean, in Virtua Fighter 2, at least the underdog stands a chance of winning. There's some tactics involved, there's some strategy involved, but in this one, the fastest guy on the button is always the winner, and that's just not the way to design beat-em-ups.
I disagree. I like it. Spot on.
The court will now recess.
Oh, right, okay, well, there's a...
I mean that literally, they are very smart. Show us your tips. All right then, big boy. If it's tips you want, let's see what you're going to get. Here's a tip for you on our Comedian Dynasty on the PC.
Comedy cybernetic limbs have been entertaining audiences for well over a decade. The structure of Mega Man's swashbuckling antics has changed very little over all this time. It's still in 2 dimensions, it still features enormous sprites, and the villains still sport ludicrous names such as Mole Man, Pharaoh Man, and the tin-plated terror himself, Kenwood Food Processor Man. However, it has to be said that Capcom have made a few concessions to the present day, and so Mega Man's world now features super smooth animations, even larger sprites, and a huge palette of throbbing, vibrant colours. No Mega Man adventure would be complete without Rush, the heroic mutant mongrel, which leaves you just to wonder what kind of intergalactic adventure names his faithful dog companion after a dull 70s progressive rock group in the first place.
Seems that the winds of fate have conspired against us this week, and my co-reviewer Richard is stuck in a lift somewhere on the way to the edge. Anyway, by the miracles of modern technology, with any luck, we might just be able to hook up with Richard in that lift via Securicam. But hey, let's wait and see. Tonight, first game up's Mega Man. This game's been out for a seriously long time, you know. I mean, Game Boy, most of the 8-bit, 16-bit consoles, it's been there, it's done the rounds. Based on a sort of standard, simple idea, there's probably not much pop for the 32-bit next-gen owners, but check it out, see what you think anyway.
Here's a game that has never changed much. I mean, the first Mega Man X game came out, 10 years ago now, and we've always had exactly the same formula. Colourful, 2D, sprite-based graphics, lots of shooting, and a lot of Japanese cute stuff. They're still very playable. I mean, this game has its enemies, that's for sure, so if you're one of them, avoid. But for fans of the Mega Man series, it's got to be a must-buy, isn't it?
Last time I looked, Repton was a small and inoffensive platform hero of the mid-1980s. Times have certainly changed. In today's troubled age, Repton Empire spans half the galaxy, and its vast star of dark light, a universe of light-source photon fighters, fevered space dogfights, and a touch of good old-fashioned tough guy bravado. You can only wonder at how you've managed to land yourself in the middle of the Repton's age-old conflict with the Ovians. But you better master your fighter damned quickly if you're going to master the game's numerous single-player missions. Up to 8 players can make a local network, but beware, your enemies have little respect for their own lives and are not above ill-advised attempts at diving through your surprisingly flimsy cockpit window.
Next game up tonight, we've got Darklight on the PlayStation. At the moment, X-Wing vs TIE Fighter is creating a blaze across PC land, but this is the PlayStation equivalent, I suppose. It's arcade, flight sim, space stylish. Definitely worth a look at. The only thing around on the PlayStation of its kind, so if you get the chance, check this one out.
I had my doubts about this game when I first heard of it. I mean, I think after X-Wing vs TIE Fighter and the whole LucasArts Space Sim thing, nothing could beat it. And this doesn't beat it, but it's certainly a damned fine space shoot 'em up. The graphics are incredible. Beautiful light sourcing, wonderful solar flare effects. It's playable. It's very difficult, but once you get into it, you're going to love it.
Nothing at all. No strange mystic